Announces his run for president in a dramatic video. He calls the race a battle for America's soul. Just moments ago, the former vice president makes it official. Joe Biden jumps into the White House race with a direct shot at the president.
I cannot stand by and watch that happen.
Calling out Trump on Charlottesville and hate. Biden's message about America and our future as he launches his bid for president.
Also this morning, that wicked weather on the move. At least 3 reported tornadoes and deadly flooding hitting the south. The incredible rescue. Good Samaritans saving the life of that driver. Now the new alerts as the storm barrels east.
Breaking overseas, Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin face to face for the first time. Inside their high-stakes summit on nuclear weapons and what Putin plans to tell President Trump.
Measles emergency. The outbreak now officially the worst in almost 20 years. Nearly 700 confirmed cases coast to coast. And now the new warning from the CDC.
A new twist in the college admission scandal. How Lori Loughlin will try to stay out of prison. And the message now from another star who faced a high-profile court battle, Martha Stewart.
Go big or go.
And we're live in Nashville, where the NFL draft is about to get underway. Nearly 300 players, one dream, all waiting for their names to be called.
Go big or go home.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, America, and good morning to Robin in Nashville, all set to host the first round of the NFL draft tonight. What a big day ahead, Robin.
If I had a cowboy hat, I'd tip it to you right now, George. Big day for the players and the NFL, too, celebrating its 100th anniversary. This is a moment these athletes have been waiting for since they were probably, playing pee-wee football, Cecilia.
Big moment there, Robin. We're all looking forward to following you all morning long. It is also a big moment here for former Vice President Joe Biden. He just released that announcement, making it official, saying he is running for president. Robin, you're going to sit down with him soon.
Yes, I'll head to Pittsburgh for that, and I will sit down with the former vice president and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden. That will be next week, and looking forward to that. And he has a lot to say and can't wait to hear what he has to say, George.
That is coming up next week, Robin. This morning, the announcement, he made it official just moments ago, kicking off that presidential campaign. Want to go straight to our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. Joe Biden spent 36 years in the United States Senate in this building, but he spent a lot of time thinking about running for president. He's run twice before, and today he jumped into the 2020 race with a bold appeal to bedrock American values.
Joe Biden jumping into the 2020 race for president with a stark and stunning video announcement. Images of white supremacists marching in Charlottesville, framing his vision of what's at stake in this election.
We're in the battle for the soul of this nation. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy. Everything that has made America, America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Biden is taking direct aim at President Trump.
But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are. And I cannot stand by and watch that happen.
And the former vice president is sounding a theme of progressive patriotism, pledging a fight on first principles.
We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
This morning's announcement coming after months of speculation as Biden's campaign in waiting was clearly ramping up. But he's been thinking about it for decades. In 2008, his late son, Beau Biden, battled brain cancer, and he urged his father to run. So Biden is now fulfilling his son's wish as he enters a crowded and diverse field. He is the 20th Democratic hopeful. And while he is a deeply familiar face to Americans, he's been in politics for nearly half a century under President Obama, dubbed affectionately Uncle Joe. His old school, up close and personal political style could also be a liability. Several women came forward this year describing unwelcome physical contact from Biden, like touching and kissing. They didn't accuse Biden of sexual harassment, but they say it made them feel unequal. Biden promised to change with the times and change his style.
The boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset, and I get it. I will be more mindful and respectful of people's personal space.
So Joe Biden will pair his message of kind of fighting progressive populism with a rebuilding the middle class message. One of his first events will be at a local Teamsters Union Hall in Pittsburgh, that lunch pail labor union politics he's championed so long. George?
Real focus on taking back Pennsylvania. But Terry, what a choice by the former vice president. The first word in the video is Charlottesville, taking on President Trump directly in the comments that President Trump made coming out of Charlottesville. I want to show a little bit more of the video right now.
Some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides. With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime.
You know, most of the other Democratic candidates have had to spend more time talking about themselves. As you pointed out, Joe Biden's so familiar to so many Americans, he can go straight to the general election in some ways.
That's it exactly. And this is a message that unites all Democrats, and it's an important message for Democrats. Donald Trump injected a new kind of nationalism into American politics. Some would call it a reactionary nationalism, make America great again. Biden is trying to frame a progressive nationalism that sometimes Democrats have been reluctant to make that kind of argument. He's going full bore on it. George?
He sure is. Okay, Terry, thanks very much. Boy, a brand new race this morning, guys.
A very crowded race. RNC is already weighing in. It'll be interesting to see if he can catch up with the fundraising that's already been out there. A lot of people already have a lot of money in the coffers.
Yeah, he says the first 24 hours is really important with the fundraising.
Yep, we will see those numbers later. Also, former Vice President Biden will be on The View tomorrow. And Robin, of course, will interview Biden and his wife, Jill, on GMA Tuesday.
Looking forward to both of those. Okay, George, we're going to turn now to those deadly storms tearing through the South, reported tornadoes and pounding rain leading to flooding. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Dallas with the very latest. Good morning, Marcus.
Cecilia, good morning. This deadly storm produced tornadoes and dumped several inches of rain. Just to give you an idea of how much, check out this. This is usually a very calm spillway here in Dallas, and this morning you can see it looks like a raging river. Overnight, at least 2 reported tornadoes ripping through Texas. This laundromat in St. Augustine gutted, the brick walls completely torn down, and a gas station in ruins. The dark funnel cloud forming over the campus of Texas A&M.
Oh my God!
Later, a twister touching down in Bryan, blasting out the windows of this home and destroying others. The roof of this barn partially torn off. That same storm dumping rain and sparking flash floods across the state. Some parts receiving more than half a foot of rain. In Austin, this truck overturned in a ditch, rapidly filling with water. Watch as these Good Samaritans band together to flip that truck over, freeing the young driver trapped inside. But for others, tragedy. A woman and her 2 children killed when their car was swept away by floodwaters. The severe weather impacting thousands across the state and affecting travel. Dallas-Fort Worth Airport reporting 373 flight delays and at least 8 cancellations. And one school district here in Texas, at least one, has canceled classes because of this severe weather. And after 2 days of torrential rain, they are simply hoping for a break in this region. Janae?
All right, thanks to Marcus, where you can see all that water behind him. Now let's go to Rob with the latest on where that storm is heading next. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Janae. At least Texas getting a break, but as you can see, the slow-moving system still in Louisiana. As mentioned, Louisiana Tech hit hard across the northern part of the state, and this thunderstorm watch in effect for the next couple of hours as these 2 lines make their way off towards the east. So let's time this out for you. As this front pushes east down I-10, we'll look for some severe weather from New Orleans over towards Tallahassee, Biloxi as well in the mix here. Likely just strong winds with this, but can't rule out a tornado. Certainly some large hail, and this entire system moves up towards the northeast, and it's going to be a bit of a mess here during the day tomorrow. More on that throughout the show.
Looks like it. Okay, Rob, thanks very much. We're going to go overseas now to that first ever summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin. The 2 American rivals are meeting after President Trump and Kim hit a wall in their talks over North Korea's nuclear program. And our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Reditz, is in Washington with the details. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. President Trump has touted his friendship, his love for Kim Jong-un. But this morning, Kim has a new friend, Vladimir Putin. Just a short time ago, the 2 leaders, both obsessed with their images on the world stage, toasting one another and their shared friendship, with Kim presenting Putin a large golden sword. Putin made clear he supports the U.S. efforts to completely denuclearize the Korean peninsula, but how they get there is the sticking point. Talks broke down between the U.S. and North Korea after the second summit in Hanoi. President Trump insisting there will be no sanctions relief until the North makes significant progress in denuclearization. Kim wants a more step-by-step process. Putin said this morning that Kim is ready to move forward with talks, but he needs strong security guarantees to do so, without explaining exactly what that means. Cecilia?
A lot of questions there still, Martha. Thank you. We're going to turn now to this race to contain the terror threat in Sri Lanka after those Easter bombings. This morning, the father of two of the suspected bombers is now under arrest. ABC's James Longman is there in Colombo with more. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Cecilia. The hunt goes on here for more suspects as Catholic churches suspend all public services for fear of more attacks. 6,500 troops are now on the streets, along with a further 2,000 Air Force and Navy personnel. A successful businessman has been detained who authorities say helped two of his sons carry out these atrocities. One of them runs a copper factory where the bombs may have been made. Nearly 350 people are now confirmed dead, and the pressure is mounting on the government to explain how it could have missed repeated intelligence warnings. A standoff is brewing, with the president asking for the resignation of the defense secretary and police chief. Both have yet to do so. There are also now fears of a backlash against Muslims. Dark clouds are still hanging over Sri Lanka. Janae?
All right, James. Well, now to that dangerous new milestone in the growing measles outbreak. It's now the worst in the U.S. in nearly 20 years. The CDC says 695 measles cases have been reported in 22 states. ABC's Gio Benitez is at Mount Sinai Hospital here in New York, where they're battling this head on. Gio, good morning.
That's right, Janae. Good morning. New York City has some of the most cases in the country, and now experts are concerned about how long these outbreaks continue.
This morning, it's a record-breaking outbreak. Measles, one of the most contagious infectious diseases, spreading across the country in the worst outbreak since 2000, when measles were eliminated from the U.S. Nearly 700 cases have been reported, mostly impacting unvaccinated children, who are among the most at risk for serious complications from the virus.
They'll have high fevers, things that are bad that can lead from measles, or encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain. They can get bad pneumonias as well.
Meaning infants like 6-month-old Walter, too young to receive the vaccine, are in harm's way.
I don't know where he got it from, but his immune system is compromised. It only takes a moment to get exposed.
His mother, Sarah Bloom, says Walter spent more than a week in the ICU after rashes spread across his little body last month.
It's really frustrating. I mean, babies Walter's age, they rely on herd immunity. They're too young to get vaccinated.
The contagious infection hitting adults, too. 390 reported cases in New York City, including 2 pregnant women.
Getting measles when you're pregnant is also extremely dangerous. It can affect the baby adversely as well.
All right, so let's talk about vaccines right now, because doctors say that children should be getting them around their first birthday with a booster between ages 4 and 6. They say they are very safe, very effective at 93%. Cecilia?
Can't say that reminder enough. Okay, Gio, thank you. Turning now to a police confrontation caught on camera that's raising new questions this morning. A police officer is accused of using excessive force against a 22-year-old woman, and she's now speaking out. ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Atlanta with more on this. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Cecilia. We don't see what happens before the officer pulls this young woman over. Police say he was responding to a hit and run, and the police chief this morning says he is disgusted and embarrassed by what happened.
Driver's license, proof of insurance.
Tuscaloosa police are putting sunshine on this routine traffic stop that turned violent.
Tell you what, go on, step out.
Police body camera video shows one of their officers making an arrest Friday.
Are you serious?
Sir. Have you lost your freaking mind? 22-year-old Jasmine Shepard is begging the officer not to arrest her, and as she turns around, it's not clear how, but she ends up on the concrete with the officer on top of her.
They know what they did was completely uncalled for.
Shepard says police used excessive force.
My face in the ground, I can't even breathe, and I'm telling him to get up. I can't breathe. So I'm grabbing.
People passing by recorded this cell phone video showing a second officer joining in, one of them beating her with a baton.
Here's what one of them says when the beating is over.
10-4, start medical this way. No. Shut your mouth! You do anything other than what you're told to right now, I'm gonna kick you in the teeth. Do you understand me?
Police are investigating.
I was disappointed in the officers. I was disgusted by what I saw, what I heard, and I was embarrassed by it.
They've charged this woman with leaving the scene of an accident, resisting arrest, and assault. But because of this video, authorities are now considering dropping the charges. Cecilia.
Wow, it's stunning video indeed. Okay, Steve, thank you. Now to that big day in Nashville. The NFL draft. Football fans will be watching every moment on the edge of their seats to see if and when their favorites get picked. Robin is hosting the first round of the draft tonight. Back again. Hey, Robin.
Hi there. We are celebrating also the 100th year of the NFL here in Nashville. And this is a city that knows how to throw a party. I'm just going to say that. Tonight, 32 athletes will start the next chapter in their lives to become professional football players. A total dream come true. Tonight, elite athletes will be on the edge of their seats, waiting to hear their names called, as millions of fans anxiously watch every minute of the NFL draft. Quarterback. This year, all eyes are on Kyler Murray.
Kyler lobs in.
The projected #1 pick.
Kyler Murray of Oklahoma University.
The Oklahoma quarterback, the Heisman Trophy winner, is such an amazing athlete that he already has a Major League Baseball deal. The draft always puts quarterbacks in the spotlight. Remember when Peyton Manning was a #1 pick in 1998? Going on to win 2 Super Bowls? But you don't have to be picked first to be dubbed the greatest of all time. This guy turned out to be the 199th pick, but Tom Brady has managed to pick up more than a few rings over the years. But quarterbacks won't be the only stars in this year's draft, with a lineup heavy on defense. Keep your eyes on Nick Bosa. At 6'4", 267 pounds, you can't miss him. For this Ohio State defensive lineman, football is the family business. His brother is currently in the NFL, and his father and uncle played too. Quinnen Williams rolled tide at Alabama as a defensive lineman, winning the Outland Trophy this season for being the best at his position. And he usually does this after he has a sack, and he's had more than a few. Will he have them in the NFL? We're going to find that out, because we're going to have more on the NFL draft from here in Nashville throughout the morning. And in our next hour, we're going to include the story of a young man who says all of his success on and off the field is thanks to his mother. And he can't wait to share his inspiring story. And I know you would think, yes, off the field she inspired him and helped him. Also helped him on the field as well. We'll explain. We'll explain.
Tease right there.
Looking forward to that one.
Thank you. We have a lot of other stories we're following this morning as well, including a new twist in that college admissions scandal. Lori Loughlin right there getting some insight into her defense strategy. The big question is, will it keep her out of prison? Martha Stewart has a message for her as well.
Plus, this morning, Selena Gomez is getting candid about her mental health, her difficult year, the new interview ahead. But first, go back over to Rob. Hey.
Good morning, hey guys. Let's talk about this storm that's so slow moving. It's painfully slow, as a matter of fact. But these are the fresh pictures that just came in. The first time I'm seeing it, actually, out of Ruston, Louisiana. This is where that suspected tornado looks to be. That there's certainly damage of that, potentially a strong one. And we're getting some reports that there could be some people injured. So we'll be updating that throughout the day. Cedar Park, Texas, near Austin. Look at this yesterday. Look at the wind blowing the rain sideways up to 60 miles per hour. So we had torrential rains with this. We saw all the flooding across Texas. And then the wind certainly not helping. So a lot of wind energy with this. It's now marching down I-10. We mentioned that. The severe weather threat from Baton Rouge to New Orleans in through Tallahassee. But looks like Nashville will get a little bit of rain today during the draft tonight. And then the rain getting more heavy tomorrow afternoon in through tomorrow evening. Pretty strong squall line coming across I-95 at 8 p.m. Time now for your Hot City is brought to you by Febreze Fabric Refreshener.
No matter how much you clean, does your house still smell stuffy? That's because your home is filled with soft surfaces that trap odors and release them back into the room. So try Febreze Fabric Refresher. Febreze finds odors trapped in fabrics and cleans them away as it dries. Use Febreze every time you tidy up to keep your whole house smelling fresh air clean. Fabric Refresher even works for clothes you want to wear another day. Make Febreze part of your clean routine for whole home freshness.
Temperatures the next 2 days will be above average. We'll top out just on the other side of 70 degrees. Cloud cover today really winning out. Maybe a little bit of filtered sunshine, but definitely a spotty shower today. Heavier weather tomorrow. There could be a morning shower, but after 2 o'clock, a few thunderstorms and some pockets of heavier rain that may lead to some flash flooding. All that rain should be out of here by 8 to 9 p.m., giving us a pretty nice weekend. Sunshine on Saturday, the high 68, 74 on Sunday. Can't rule out an isolated shower.
Kids running around here
A
today.
lot of kids.
We'll be right back.
I'm working to make each day a little sweeter.
To give every idea the perfect soundtrack.
To fill your world with fun.
To share my culture with my